It is finally time for the third Freeplay competition, where all of you will compete against each other to be featured in the results video where I go through and commentate over the best runs. The first competition was Haunted Only Water on easy mode, the second one was Spice Islands with only 2 islands on medium mode in reverse, and this third one is gonna be Chimps mode, and there will be a little bonus prize for the winner. The rules for this competition are as follows: Chimps mode on 3 mines round. Towers can only be placed inside of the loop, the only banned tower is Isili, and you have to play using this challenge code. Using the regrow farming trick to make extra cash is allowed, and I will leave some links in the description to explain what this trick is and how it's done. It might be difficult to do, but if you can pull it off, you'll earn some extra cash from doing so. Quality of life mods are allowed, like for example the Paragon calculator, Temple calculator, the time machine mod, faster forward, anything that doesn't directly impact the game is fine. The competition starts now and ends on the evening of Sunday the 30th of November, so once again we're doing about 4 weeks to give everyone time to make their attempt. As always, you have to record your full gameplay and upload it to YouTube as unlisted videos and then submit the links to me either via email or Discord DM. There is no exact time on that particular day that the submission needs to be in, we're not that picky, just make sure it's sent in by the evening of Sunday, November 30th. It doesn't matter if the submission is all in one video or split up into many, that's up to you, and it's also up to you if you want to include the gameplay of when you needed to retry rounds or not. You can choose to edit it out or just leave it in. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing anyway if you make it into the video. These competitions that I host are just for fun. We haven't had any prize money in them before, and I'm not necessarily going to make this a regular thing, but in this event I will be giving just a little bonus to the winner, a €50 Steam gift card to the winner to buy a nice game or whatever for Christmas. Ho ho ho. The reason we're using a challenge code this time is so that everyone will get the same seed, so there won't be any RNG and no one will have to use a round predictor to try to get easier rounds than everyone else. The bad thing about using challenges is that the saves are stored in the cloud and not on your PC when playing a challenge from the browser, and this means that you won't be able to create save states to go back a few rounds in case you mess up. So if you want to be able to go back a few rounds, you will have to use the time machine mod, which I recommend if you're gunning for a top score. If you're playing without mods, thankfully we have at least managed to fix a retry last round button for you. We modded this challenge because if you make the challenge only from round 6 to 7 and then enter Freeplay, the retry last round button gets replaced with a continue button that gives bonus cash and resets ability cooldowns, and that's cheating. So we needed the challenge max round to be very high so you wouldn't ever hit the ceiling, so we modded it to go up to round 500, usually the max is 300, and normally you have to complete the challenge before publishing it onto the browser, but with mods we could publish it anyway. So thanks to this trickery, even if you don't feel comfortable downloading mods like the time machine, you can still play and you still have a decent chance at competing for a top score, because at least now you have a retry button. Now I'm gonna move on to answer some commonly asked questions when it comes to the limited area rules. As mentioned, you can only place towers inside of the loop, and that goes both during rounds and in between them. So let's say you're making a Paragon, in that case all the sacrifices has to be inside of the loop too. You are not allowed to place sacrifices outside just because a round isn't playing. The restricted area rule also applies to all sub-towers that you can directly control the position of. So things like totems from Geraldo or Isili or the Mermonkey, or mega sentries from the NG Paragon, all those kinds of things has to be inside the loop because you place them and you control their location. This also goes for the beast handler, so dinos and fishies has to be inside the loop, so if you want to use fish you gotta get the Mermonkey. Sub-towers that you cannot directly control, like the mini sentries that the mega sentries spawn or the regular sentries from the sentry champion, they are allowed outside of the loop because you cannot 100% control where they spawn. Objects that are placed on the track, like Geraldo's glue, spikes or blade traps, or traps from the NG or the Prince of Darkness zombie spawn point, the Paukai target, Wall of Fire, Gwendolyn's cocktail, Mordar targets, all of those things can be placed anywhere on the track. If you have a heli or an ace, of course they can be targeted anywhere you want, as long as the tower itself is inside of the loop, and you are also allowed to door gunner a tower outside of the loop as long as you don't set it down outside of the loop. It has to stay inside of the heli. If you have a teleporting tower like the Dark Champion or Corvus, you are not allowed to teleport him outside of the loop even if you bought him inside. If he is touching the ground, he is outside. If you have a boat and a platform sticks outside of the loop, then yes, you can still place towers on that platform. It still counts as inside the loop because the boat is inside and the tower on top is not touching the ground. And obviously you are allowed to mine the rocks for income. That's kind of why we're doing it on this map, because it's fun. And that's about it. Remember that you have to use the challenge code in order to compete. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments or DM me on Discord. And also remember that you can choose whichever hero you like for this challenge other than Isili. Whichever hero you have selected in the menu will be the one that you start the challenge with. If you have any questions about how to download mods, I am sorry, I am not the best person to ask, but there are a bunch of guides out there and a bunch of mod discords, and you can always ask around in my Discord as well. Just make sure you have an updated version of Melon Loader, because there were some problems recently with mods due to a Unity update, but that has been fixed with newer versions of Melon Loader. All players who participate will be included on the leaderboard, which will be shown in the results video, and for the better scores, as always, I will look at their setup building process in more detail. Thank you for watching, and best of luck to all of you.